there's some fresh markups that need to take place on my chart, so I thought that it would be a good idea to actually show it in live time, record a video, and share this with you guys in case it's helpful for you. So I'm gonna share my screen and we'll jump right in. All right, so as you see, I'm on the gold. This is my 5-minute chart, but there are way too many levels here, and it's just time for a fresh markup. Don't need to share any context why these levels are here. Actually, I'll share some context. Like these are just levels in the past, right? That I've left there. We've played around, especially this area over the last, this is day, right? But if I go to like the 1 hour, we've been using these areas on larger time frames and even the micro smaller time frame. So nonetheless, it's time for a fresh markup. A lot has happened with gold. Gold took a crazy retracement, correction, whatever your verbiage you want to use. There's some imbalance that we were just talking about this on Thursday. We didn't know when it could be filled because it was so low, right? Like relative to where price was. And those imbalances were filled completely within the last few days or so. But like I said, we're gonna do a fresh markup. I'm going to right click and remove all drawings, and boom, we're back fresh. So as you know, I like to start on higher time frames. So we're gonna start with the daily, right? We're gonna look for daily decision-making levels, and I do see a daily level right here. 3 candle structure, 1, 2, 3. And so I'll mark that daily DML. And then just looking at price, right? Like ever since we've broken this level, we've respected this level, right? And this is the daily time frame, right? So even this initial drop was decent movement off of that decision-making level. And even the correction back to that level was decent movement because like I said, this is on the daily. So, but ever since we've broken it, the second time, right, that we got that second touch, right, broke it initially. Actually, we got 3 touches. So touched this level here, sold off of it, came back, touched that level again, sold off, came back, touched that level again, and then kept breaking through. But then we also even see this large wick that we've gotten over these last couple of days of trading come, not too far off of that level. So we're seeing that force field like nature of the decision making levels. The closer price gets to it, we're seeing that in real time, right? Which I love, especially on higher time frames. So that's all I needed on my daily. I don't see any decision making levels above current price on my daily. So I'm gonna go down to the 4 hour. I'm gonna go to the 4 hour, and I'm simply looking for another level above current price. So this is current price right here where I'm circling, or if you see it on the right hand side, 48.38, right? It's bouncing around from there. And so I'm gonna go on my 1 hour and just look for any decision making levels, and I notice there is not one right there. So let's go down to 1 hour, and I already saw one on my 1 hour initially. So, but I've 2 actually, right? So and I'm looking at most recent price, right? I'll go back in time like even further, but I'm looking at just the this is still going back in time. So this is more recent, in this area relative to where price is now versus, down here, because this was January 21st and it's currently February 2nd versus this is January 29th, right? So not too many days in the past, but now I'm looking for a decision making level above this area, right? And I see one right here, 3 candle structure, right? So I'll mark that one. Boom. 1 hour decision making level. And as I'm going through this, like I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, okay, that was a decision making level. Price sold away from it, hasn't came back to test that level yet. I'm noting that mentally based on what I know about these levels, right? And then I do have another 1 hour decision making level right above that area, which happens to be near all-time highs, right? So then I'm just adding those pieces together. I'm just piecing them together. And then I look at these levels relative to the psychological numbers, right? That, I haven't talked about it a ton, but it's something I pay attention to. Psychological numbers, institutional numbers. But these are essentially whole numbers, right? Because it makes it easy for investment funds, hedge funds, and large institutions to trade. They're not going to worry about the points, right? 0.3, 0.5. 0.5 somewhat could be considered institutional levels, but mostly 0.0 are the price levels that they're looking at, right? So I look at this decision making level. Yeah, it's on the 1 hour, but it's all near 55 3.0. It's near 55 point zero, right? It's just near that area. So while it's not absolute, like it's still something that I'm taking a mental note of, right? It's still something that I'm making a mental note of. And this is not something that I've just noticed once, right? This is based off of, I don't even know how many hours of me seeing these levels and noticing that very, very thing. So you can take that to the grave. So these are my levels there. So I basically have, between these levels, I have 130 points of movement, which is a significant movement. Like that's significant. I also have this area of imbalance that I'm just noticing right now. And before I forget it, I'm going to mark it. Before I forget it, while I'm showing you guys this, because it's valuable, but like that's a decision. That's an imbalance between two key decision-making levels. So now if price ends up coming back to this level and I simply just trade the break of this decision-making level to the area of imbalance, that is 94 points, right? That's a lot of change. One contract, two contracts, scale in, right? That's a good trade right there. And I think about the probability of that trade, considering that the fundamentals are still in favor of safe haven demand. I think about the probability of price trading from one decision-making level to the next. I think about the probability of imbalances being filled. Like I think about all those probabilistic variables. I think about all of those. And that's like a very high probable, low risk trade if I get the opportunity to take it. Right. But I'm considering all of that. I'm not going to mark up all the imbalances yet because I'm noticing some more, but I just wanted to make sure I touched on that. So those are my two decision-making levels on higher time frames. So right now I have my major levels, the 1 hour decision-making levels up here and my daily decision-making level. But now I'm going to need some closer parameters to trade around. Because like I said, from this decision-making level, from this first decision-making level here to this very last one, that's a lot of movement. That's 1,200 points, right? That's a lot of movement. Okay, so, and it's just not feasible for me to say, okay, I'm just going to trade from right at this point in time. The next time I get an opportunity, I'm going to trade from here to this decision-making level, because the likelihood of me getting 592 points in one single trading session is not very likely, right? It's not very, in one single solitary trading session, it's not very likely at all. And so I need to account for that. I need to have targets to trade to. Like I'm not trading unless I have targets to trade to. And so now I'm looking for some more levels under current price, ideally as close to current price as possible, right? So I see this decision-making level right here, 3 candle structure, boom, right? Mark that up. So now price has here to here to trade to, right? I'm not super biased towards sells right now. And let me stop really quick. I'm not super biased towards price moving downwards. And so for 2 reasons, I don't like to trade against the fundamentals when I can help it. Right? Will I sometimes? Yes, I may take those risks if the risk to reward is in my favor. But like I said, gold is just super volatile right now. Like and what I mean by that in this context is very little movement can cause a very big change in price, which means I have like 2x or 3x more at risk for a 10-point movement than I would in different conditions, right? And the points won't change, but what I mean by that, like a traditional 10-point movement is in this current time like a 50-point movement or a 100-point movement, right? So like the risk that I would have to put at stake where I would accept invalidation from the market is greater in cost, right? It's going to cost me more to do that. Hope that makes sense. And so I'm not, like I said, I'm not bullish on, or I'm not in favor of sells. So what I'm personally going to do in this current moment is just wait for price to respect this level, or for it to just turn around and go, right? but I'm not going to take a trade downwards to this level, even though it's some good movement. Like that's 140 points. Like that's a good trade to take. And so, yeah, that's the area that I'm using as my reaction area. If price moves away from that area now, I'm equating it to this level. If it moves towards this level, I'm not doing anything until we react off of it or the fundamentals start to favor decreasing safe haven demand, and then I'm waiting for us to break this level and trade lower, right? So I'm in essentially a no trade zone in the downward direction in this current climate. And so if I'm targeting buys, I need to know where I'm taking these buys to, right? So of course I have this decision making level, which is, you know, an ultimate primary target, because I told you that it's like 500 points away, right? So that's just not the probability. I'm not gonna say it's not possible. The probability of that happening is not very likely, right? And so then I go down to the 15 minute because there was nothing else on the 1 hour that I could find. And so then I go down to the 15 minute and I do the same thing again. Like I'm looking for decision making levels below price and above price, right? Just because I have one below price down here, like this is just an ultimate invalidation level, right? Like an ultimate invalidation level or confirmation of trend change, right? And so like I like to build stories. I like to track price throughout its cycle of trends, right? And I'm able to do that with these decision making levels, right? And so I got this 15-minute decision making level I'm gonna put down because I see this 3 candle structure. 1, 2, 3, boom, right? So now what am I waiting for? I'm waiting to see what price is gonna do at this level, because it could do something like this and sell off, right? It could do something like this and buy up, excuse me. And then it could do something like this and buy up, right? It could do something like that. It could do something like this, right? There's so, like, it can do so many different things. And all I'm waiting for, because I don't know what it's going to do, I'm waiting to see what it's going to do at this level, right? And then once it breaks this level, what am I waiting for? I'm waiting to see if it's going to go fill this imbalance, right? Because even though I'm not taking the trade, I still get the validation of what I'm looking for, right? I still get the win off of what I'm looking for. Like, yeah, what I'm looking for is like repeatable. Like it's happening over and over again. So like right now, that's what I'm going to be looking at. If price respects this area and starts to move upwards, I'm going to be looking at taking buys. Like it's like this. Once you start to see it so many times, like you can build the story out without even talking through it. Like, cause you're just playing it in your head. Like you just see these things and you just check the boxes off and you just keep going down the check boxes till you arrive at your setup, right? And then you have your setup, your risk reward, your invalidation, your target. Like you have all of that already ready to go, and you just need to enter the trade at that point. And so like I said, I find my decision making level below price, and now I find one above price. And so let's see, above price. That's not one there. I can see that the high for that candle is above the open for this candle, which would not be an accurate decision making level. This is not one here because this candle is bigger than this candle, but there is a decision making level right here. 3 candle structure, 1, 2, 3, even a potential back to back, right? With this candle here. So I like that level. Like you guys know, when I see this multiple times at one level, I like that level, strong level. And then I can even like go back in time, and now I'm gonna go down one rabbit hole, but I promise I'm gonna find my way out, right? But like I even have this right here, like this price action at the same decision making level, even though this decision making level happened after all of this. That to me, that does not negate the fact that this type of price action happened at a current decision making level. That's not a coincidence. I would say it's a coincidence if I saw it once, but I've seen it over and over and over again, right? And then when we think about institutional numbers, this is close to 5208.9. It's close to 5208.0. It's close to 5210. Like it's in that range where this price action occurred, right? And so that's all I'm going to say about that. But now I have a price target above current price, this 15-minute decision making level. And then now I'm going to zoom out and I'm going to look to see, okay, how many points is it from this level if I choose to buy to this level? Okay, 328 points. Once again, more probable than the last one from current price to 530 plus points, but still not significantly probable, like where I can say, okay, that's an absolute price target on my next trade, right? I'm not going to be able to say that with that. And so it's still an area that I'm targeting price, right? It's still, and I'm going to walk you guys through exactly how I'm about to use this right now. This is 15-minute decision-making level. So boom, set that up. And now I need another decision-making level above current price, right? So now I'm gonna just go down to the 5-minute because I didn't see anything on the 15. And I'm gonna look for above current price, lower than this decision-making level, above current price. I'm gonna look for another decision-making level. And I believe I see one, right? Where did it go? Where did it go? I just saw it. Let's find it. There's gonna be one in this area. All right, here we go. 3 candle structure, right? 1, 2, 3. Like how it looks doesn't matter as long as it's the 3 candle structure. And I'm not gonna talk about what the 3 candle structure is. If you don't know by now, please go back and watch one of the other videos, right? Because 3 candle structure, super simple, super easy to find. Like you guys can see, I'm not even zooming in that far until I need to like really validate it. Like, but on any time frame, I'm able to pick that out, and you'll be able to get there too. The more and more you see it, and the more and more you look for it. So now I have a 5-minute decision-making level below another decision-making level, right? So then I get into the situation where I'm trading level to level, right? Level to level. Boom. That then we're maybe selling off that level to the next level. And then we're buying back up to that level and so on and so forth. But now I'm going to reset that. And so now I have something that's more feasible, right? So now that's about a 47-point movement from the break of that high. From current price to there, that's about a 100-point movement, right? Of course, my confirmations likely wouldn't come in until like a break around here, right? But that's aside the point. Because what I'm able to do is when we break this level, I'm able to scale in and trade to the next level, right? And like I said, this move right here is still 283 points. But like I said, the current goal conditions, 283 is like a traditional 100-point move in my personal opinion from what I've noticed, right? And so that's, you know, that's more likely than trading from this level all the way up to this level, or the 1 hour decision making level all the way up to this 1 hour, right? So you can see now, like I have phases of price movement and I'm able to track that. And that doesn't mean that new decision making levels won't be created, because there could be 2 new levels that get created between these 2 levels, right? To give me even more of a boundary to not trade within and to use as a confirmation of the trend change. But now I'm just going to mark out my areas of imbalance real quick, which is going to be the last thing that I would do. And so let's go to the daily. Let's see if there's any imbalances on the daily. Okay. So there is this large imbalance here on the daily time frame, right? Which the same thing applies about imbalances in regards to decision-making levels. The higher the time frame, the stronger the area, right? So this daily imbalance, it's going to get filled at some period. Excuse me. At some period, it's going to get filled, right? And so that's really the only imbalance that I need on the upside, right? I have some on the downside already. We just recently filled some imbalance that was here, and so we don't even really have any more imbalance until below this daily decision making level. But once again, like ultimate invalidation point right here, like if price decides to drop all the way down here, like I'm looking for the confirmation to take it back up because this is a strong area, right? But in terms of where we're currently at right now, I'm simply looking to see how price is reacting at this 15-minute decision making level, and then I'm looking to take buys, right? I would scale back in if I entered a buy. Let's say I entered a buy. I'm on the 1 hour time frame, but just hypothetical. Let's say I entered a buy here, right? As price moves to that level, that's when I would scale in if we continue to break and there's no signs of, bulls stepping out, and I would be targeting this area of imbalance, right? And of course I'd be sliding my stop loss up and up and up until I was in take profit. But that's what until I was in infinite profit, excuse me. That's what I'm looking for in terms of gold right now. I'm not super, like, I'm not jumpy at any sells, even if they present themselves. Because like I said, nothing has really changed about the fundamentals that I would say does not favor gold. I know there were some like headlines and speculations about, the new Fed chair that Trump had appointed, but at the end of the day, from what I know about Kevin Warsh, I think is his name, he is, first of all, used to be on the institutional side of Morgan Stanley. He is getting appointed by Trump, who favors lower policies and a less independent Fed from my perspective. And so all of those things, just those three, I'm sure there are more, but they definitely favor lower interest rates. Lower interest rates favors gold as far as a return on an investment. So like, I did see some headlines about Kevin Warsh possibly being the reason that, stocks plummeted, not stocks, but gold and silver plummeted. Some of the headlines I see, but at the end of the day, I simply think this was a much needed correction. The gold was extremely overbought. Like if you look on the higher time frames, even on like the MACD or even the RSI, relative strength index, you can see that like price was overbought, right? So just like anything, things have to come down and correct. And as I would like to say, or I'm sure somebody else has said once before, the harder they fall, the higher they fly, right? And I think that's what we'll see here with gold, and especially just with the current climate. We don't even need to get into a conversation about silver. Maybe that's something I'll talk about on the live tomorrow when we're live in the morning. But yeah, that's pretty much my 2 cents about it. But I just really wanted to get on here and show you guys just me marking on my chart. Like that was like you're gonna see this same chart probably for the next, unless we just have crazy price movements, so where we're not even looking at the same area of price action anymore. But you're gonna see me use this same type of setup for the next week at least. And so I thought it'd be good to walk you guys through that, because there are times where I clean up my charts, and if you saw the way the chart looked at the beginning, you would see why it was time for a cleanup. But other than that, I hope this video was helpful. Let me know if you guys have any comments or anything you want me to clarify that you heard in this video. But other than that, I'm out.